Hi, I'm Rob Cram, and today we're taking a look at Omega Force's Bladestorm Nightmare, which is available now on PS4 and Xbox One. I'm playing the Xbox One version, and I feel that the game needs a bit more explanation because a lot of people have reviewed the game already and have found that it's kind of a bit daunting, a bit lacking, and maybe not giving it enough of a chance. I will overview the game's shortcomings, but I'll also look at what the game is actually trying to attempt to do here. So this is pretty self-explanatory. I'll just quickly go into the edit mode. This will be the first thing that you do when you start up the game and you head into the story mode. Is basically you'll create a warrior from various types. So you can see that that's my created character, Cremola. So we just set a new one, keep her female. So you got the basics. Just enter a name. Cram. And you can change the voice, and then you've got the face types. Let's put that back to female. Yep. Face types, hair types, the basic stuff. I mean, they're not the best looking characters, but you're not really going to be focusing on the aesthetics here so much. You can change the skin tone. You can even have some strange colours. So we'll just keep it at the pale skin. Change the hair. Various styles of hair. We'll keep it with the cute pigtails. Change the colour. Give it dark hair. Now you can sort of go a bit more in depth and change some of these extra features, but I'm not going to go into that right now. I'm quite happy with the basic look. I'll just give it darker eyes. As you can see there, you can change the individual eyes, which is quite cool. But as I said, you're not going to be spending too much time looking at the character, so I'm just going to quickly move on from that. Right, then you've got body types: big, tall, short, wide, slim. We'll make her wide. You can change the height. You can then change the head size. Make her kind of abnormal looking. We'll just keep her quite standard for now. Look at her. She's cool. And then the equipment is standard. I mean, you can buy stuff in-game. But we'll just keep her with the basic stuff. So that's the character creation. We'll come out of here. We've already got Cremola, and I think she's quite cool. Right, so let's get back to the main menu. So, as I said, you've got the story mode, which is based on the 100 Years' War, or you've got the option to play a nightmare alternative fantasy setting, which offers things like ogres and other mythical beasts into the fray. The 100 Years' War is obviously based on the English and French warfare. I'm not sure how historically accurate it is, so we'll just jump into the story mode and continue where I've kind of rested at the moment. So I'm going to give you just a basic overview of my understanding of the game, and I have played Dynasty Warriors, I have played Samurai Warriors. I mean, I've done a number of those kind of style of games, so I'm quite familiar with Omega Force's style of game. So what will happen is you'll enter the tavern. This is your kind of base of operations. You're basically a mercenary for hire. You're not affiliated to either the French or the English, so you'll pick up missions So if we look at the contract screen, you can see that there's various missions across France relating to, and you can choose either the English or the French, depending on which is offering the best money. But before we do that, we'll just have a look at our character. So here you can look at your squad. You can equip your character with extra items that you can purchase or find on the battlefield. Now the game uses books, which is basically gives you the command of that particular unit type. Now I've put all my skills into the sword characters because that's just my preference, but really you're supposed to sort of swap between various kind of character sets so that you can tackle opposing forces in the most efficient way possible. But I seem to tend to go for just dominating with my sword character, so let's try and increase their skills. So that's now mastered. The attack on my characters, I'll increase their research so they level up better and quicker, and then I'll increase their defense. I'm spending all my points. It's costing a lot. Right, that's fully mastered the swords, but I can do that in other categories as well, remembering that the game allows you to swap on the fly between different unit types, so I don't have to stick with the sword characters. So really one should get a balance of different types of classes so that you don't just end up with one type. But as I said, that's my preference. Now basically you can then attach other squad types to your army, and they can come in at any time at a press of a button. You can assign those, but I'm just going to leave that standard as they are. I mean, I've already equipped 3 different unit types, and then obviously you've got your standard equipment screen to adjust your basics and with stuff that you've gained. So you can look at the inventory, various armors and boosts that you can use during battle. Right, let's just jump in now. So the recruits, that's what I was talking about. You can employ a squad to add to your army at the time, and they can just chip in at a press of a button. There's all sorts of stuff you can check in the diary for information, and then obviously you've got the merchant where you can buy and sell goods.
Oh, please come again.
We won't check that right now, we don't need to. So, on to the battle. So let's check out one of the contracts. We've been basically working for the English, naturally. So we'll continue with that campaign. Now they are spread out over a series of days. As you can see there, storming Cogni, not sure if that's the right pronunciation. That's 4 days of battling to reach the objective. So it's kind of like a time limit, but you can actually just rush to the objective and do that pretty quickly in 1 day, should you feel the need to do that. So we'll start with the confrontation at Valcouleurs. Again, I'm not sure on the pronunciation, and we'll be working with the English forces. So we'll accept the contract.
You return unscathed.
Sure thing, partner. Now, I think the game's tutorial really does sort of elongate and provide a very long-winded explanation of what you need to do. I will say that you do need to level up your armies and your character, as you saw me doing earlier, to get the most out of it. Again, it's a lot more enjoyable if you put the game on a easier setting, if you're not inclined, and which will enable you to just breeze through and conquer as you go along. So here is the deployment screen where you can just quickly look at the battlefield. Obviously we're the English in red and the French are in blue. The shield and swords on the right hand side of the screen, that's your main objectives for this mission. So defend is the shield and obviously attack is the 2 swords. So we choose a deployment location. So I can choose to sort of sit back and defend, or I can put myself on the front line and tackle all of these blue areas. So I'm going to try and put myself here, right on Prugny at the front line, and this is where I'm going to spawn my army in. So here is my army. Now obviously you start off with a lot less characters in this, but remember I've leveled these up. So we're going to head south. So the idea here is to capture the bases, capture the enemy commanders, and obviously dominate the battlefield. So you'll see the enemies, that's marked in blue there, so that's an enemy French trumpeters. So what you've got to do is hold a button for your enemies, your soldiers to attack. Just keep that held down and keep moving.
Strike them down.
You can just take them down quite easily.
Strike them down.
But our swordsmen aren't very good against these riders. So you saw that sort of purple colour around them. That indicates that there's a discrepancy in our abilities at dealing with them. Not that it's impossible, just that it'd be better using a different type of unit. So we just be knocked down by those charging horses. But we can take them down quite easily.
Before me.
And then the remaining forces decide to run off because they're chicken. Like I said, I am completely dominating these armies due to the fact that I've leveled up my swordsmen to be super tough nuts. So we can take on all comers. So here's a base over here. So basically what you need to do is draw out the base commander by taking off its defences. You whittle down these kind of smaller groups of enemies first. And the guys with the shields here, that means that they're defense. So we'll now draw out the base commander and we'll just take him down, and that's the position gained. Now our troops will inhabit this location, as you can see now. So I have an option to swap to any of these that I've got the books for if I want to, but no, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to continue on with my objective and move on to the next location. So there's quite a different approach they've made here compared to previous games in in the Dynasty Warriors, Samurai Warriors, in that you don't have direct attacks on the enemies like you have done in the past. It's kind of an automated system, which is a bit of a step backwards, but this is a more strategic style game. Or so it'd like to think anyway. I mean, it still has the same mechanics of you need to be in certain areas to defend or attack. So we've got this big settlement here. Need to find a way in. And we want to take it out. So the thing that you're going to notice here, obviously, is the graphics. They're absolutely awful for an Xbox One game, even for a last-gen game. There's no effort put into making these graphics look good at all. It's got the horrible fuzz. The frame rate is pretty poor. Draw distance is terrible, as you can see. Level of detail is just not there. And it's definitely not up to scratch in the visual department. And again, when you get into these kind of skirmishes, it's incredibly difficult to actually see what's going on. You just hold the button and you just let your troops attack, maim and kill. Right, we're moving into this settlement. So you've really got to have an open mind in terms of the graphics. They really are not good enough, and it's something that will turn a lot of people off, and rightly so. It's right that gamers should expect a bit more from the visuals. Right, they're running off because they're archers and they need to get a bit of distance. We'll just take them down very easily. So you're seeing all the different sort of troop types, halberd characters here now. So our swordsmen aren't really that good against these characters, but I'm still going to overthrow them anyway, just by sheer power that we've got. You can see on the bottom right of the screen there's some sort of extra moves that you can use. So I'll demonstrate that now, the heavy strike with these knights. Oh. And they're running off. They've got nowhere to run. So, overlooking the graphics, the last gen graphics. I mean, this is PS3, Xbox 360 style graphics, and even then, you possibly would expect a bit more. Right, the horses again, they're not. See what they'll do, they'll try and get a distance and then they'll charge you from range, and that's where they're most suited. But we can just take them down, chop them down very easily. So we need to draw out the base commander here. Here they all come then. Right, we're just making mincemeat of these heathens. The French do not stand a chance here. Now, what I do like about the graphics, if like is the right word, is the fact that during the battle, dusk, and here is the base commander. So we just mob him completely, taking down his shield, and then just slicing him up. He stands no chance, and now we now own this settlement. As you can see, all our troops are now inhabiting. So let me just quickly demonstrate. I can swap to these other characters here, level 19.
I shall command you.
Right, so I now command this group. I'm going to swap back to my swordsman, that's my preferred. And I'll just show you quickly on the horses. Again, you can use that to get around quicker. Nope, I don't have the book for that, so unfortunately I can't swap to those particular characters. Right, let's move on to the next location. So let's just check the map. So we're a bit far off to the south. I don't think we'll reach the objective in this daytime in 2 minutes. So yeah, I've been enjoying the fact that I'm able to just gather my force of swordsmen. I mean, these are basic characters here. And just run riot across the maps, taking on all comers as I see fit. And dominating the map and building up the stats of my mercenary character who's wearing the dragon helmet. So there is a bit of time investment required. And as you see now, it's turned to nightfall. There's 1 minute left on the clock. And here come some more enemies just to engage those. Very easy just to take them down. So we've got that Bladestorm booster. Gives us extra abilities, extra speed. So basically, yeah, it's quite fun. It is a bit repetitive to keep running through, but your objective is to build up your army, build up your character, to give you that option to overthrow these opposing French with relative ease. So I can just wade in here now and attack all of these people. regardless of their class. And just take them down and watch them run like chickens.
Finish them! Hey! Strike them down!
And we're now at nightfall. So that's day 1. I'm just going to now quickly go to day 2. And then what I'll do is I'll immediately go to the objective and finish this particular campaign. Obviously, the more time you spend taking down enemy commanders and their bases, the more points that you'll get at the end. And the more fame. So let's go back now and deploy in a different area. So we kind of dominated that southern area. As you can see, the 2 red strongholds we've captured there. So if we go to the front line here, and Chamfleury, again, correct me on the pronunciation. So we're now going to be at the front line. So let's get this over and done with quickly. André and Denise, your time is finished. Oh, they're coming in for the attack. They're going to charge us.
Let us fight with honor.
He's coming in for a second pass. He's quite high level, level 19.
I am lost.
Yeah, he's down. Some loot for my troubles. So as you can see, the frame rate is struggling a bit here now. But you've got to kind of ignore that. So you just got to keep your finger on the R1 button and just keep it pressed down to keep your troops attacking. If you let go, then they will stop attacking. Which is an unusual feature, but it just gives you full control of when you're going to attack. For example, a good reason why you have to do that. Let's say you attack somebody, you need to retreat. It's no good having your AI continually attack and getting wasted by the enemy. You need to be able to call them back and retreat. So that's quite useful, it being that setup. Right, so we've now got this area under our control. Let's move on to the final area. Let's finish this. Wade in, cut through them. So this kind of reminds me a bit like the game Overlord, where you control the minions and you use them to attack. It's a kind of similar kind of mechanic. Just completely dominate. Get these leaders here. You do like to run away.
Strike them down.
Okay, I think we're good. Let's enter the fray. So the game will end once we've captured this location, I believe. Just too easy. So we must take these guys with the shield symbol. That's the kind of defense.
Strike them down.
So we just take all of these guys out, lowering the defenses. Nice and easy. Now we'll take the base commander. And we've got the Bladestorm bonus. It's not going to last long at all.
Most estimable work, mercenary.
Get the goodies. And that's our contract done. So although we may have fulfilled the contract, we may not have won the battle. But again, that's not our calling. Our calling was just to fulfill that contract, but we did get the victory. So not a bad ranking. So I think that should hopefully give you a good idea of Bladestorm. I mean, it's been panned in the reviews, getting 2 out of 10 and stuff like that. And it's definitely not a game for everybody. If you're really into this kind of style of game, then obviously you'll get some enjoyment from it. If not, then this is not going to sell it this sort of style to you. You're better off sticking with one of the Samurai Warriors or Dynasty Warriors games.
You should look into this.
Or any of the spin-offs that Omega Force have made, such as the One Piece game, which was quite good fun. So we're back here again, and then we've got more contracts.
This is all I have for you.
And as you can see there, you've got the map of France that you have to play through. Okay, I think it gives you a good idea. This is Bladestorm Nightmare. I mean, I could quickly just show you the other campaign quickly. So I'll just save this. Right, go back to the main menu. And it offers a bit more of a darker theme. You can actually play this online. Alright, just check. Save file, that one. So I think I've been a lot more in-depth in this video than actually doing a review. I've given my impressions. I'll use Cremola in this particular. I'll just head straight to the battlefield. So you got normal. Will you head to this battle? Yes.
After a terrible battle, the hordes of monsters are driven back. In this battle, people had actually seen Joan of Arc leading the monsters. What had happened to her? Still unbelieving, Hal and the human forces begin their march to Aquitaine, one of the few lands left to them. It was then that they chanced across some remarkable individuals. These mercenaries wielded a mysterious sword and had control over the monsters. One, known as Magnus, claimed to want to save Joan of Arc and begged for aid. Many, though, were suspicious of strangers who could control monsters. As opinions clashed, a further menace was seen approaching. Soon the land of Aquitaine was to become another monster-filled battlefield.
So basically I've imported Cremola character. So I've still got that high level, which is quite good.
Never have I seen the like. It must be magic.
Huh? What?
That sword of theirs. It can control the monsters. I believe I shall enjoy studying it.
Even you do not know. The truth is, we were given this sword by Joan. Ha ha! And yet you have chosen to wield such a mystery.
Enough talk. We've received word that a group of monsters is approaching.
Monsters!
They are getting bolder in their
A group of
attacks.
monsters!
And not only that, they attack while Gilles de Rais and the others are away.
Truly, it appears they have gotten a capable leader.
You, bring that sword and follow me.
Are you serious? We still don't know if they're telling the truth or not.
We use the strength we have to hand. For now, we destroy those monsters in front of us.
Yeah, yeah. Right, so I'm just going to jump right in. Yep. We will deploy. So I can swap
We
between
must
those
take
two
out their
characters
leader
now.
before we take too much damage.
I'm just going to head to the objective as quickly as possible. So with the Nightmare mode, it's a bit more of a open objective because there's no time limit this time. So you're free to kind of explore the map. But obviously this is dictated by the story. So I won't take too long. So I'll just quickly swap over to the other character so you can just check that.
Taste our true strength.
Forward!
So as you can see, he's controlling those goblins. It's a different kind of... Let's attack! You see these kind of skeletal warriors now.
Spread out and fight! Strike them down!
Now is the time for courage!
Right, let's take her over this direction. So, I mean, if you're...
We shall be watching you.
We don't trust you. You just remember that.
It appears it will not be easy to gain their trust. I guess we will just have to prove ourselves in this battle.
Yeah, so I was going to say, if you're more inclined to reaching places in a speedier manner, then obviously it would pay dividends to learn the horse rider's skills, and that will just give you the option to move across the terrain quicker. It is quite slow paced on foot like this. Right, we're heading into enemy territory.
I will not flee! I will fight!
A bit of rain. So now you're seeing sort of magic attacks, which you won't see in the standard campaign. Obviously they didn't have that in the 100 Years' War.
Spread out and fight!
Watch them flee! Light work of him. Into the stronghold. Well, he's lost all of his defenses and the commander has appeared. Let's go take that base.
Finish them!
So effectively it's the same kind of style as the other story mode, just with a slightly different spin with the fantasy characters. So you kind of get the idea. I mean, I can show you how quickly I can finish this mission. I'm just heading straight to the objective and not worrying about getting engaged too much with some of the other enemies. You know, the base commander, that would be quite handy to take that. So you get kind of distracted, but this is en route. Attack! I'm using my skills now, as you can see that. Position seized.
The enemy seems weak. Something does not feel right.
So we'll head for this main. So you're seeing quite a varied bit of terrain here compared to the other campaign that we were just playing. But again, the graphics are absolutely terrible.
Finish them!
And they're not the most smooth that you'd expect them to be. I think it's probably a similar story on the PS4 humans versus goblins. And they run. They flee. Chickens. So we're heading into the stronghold now. Look, they're all running away. Please. Spare us. Here's the base commander, an extra large goblin. Again, just completely overthrew him. So we've got these kind of mage characters here now. I can control those. Just to give you an idea. So you can see now I've got different kind of abilities. Let's just go and unleash these characters on some unsuspecting victims. Death.
Strike them down.
So again, these magic attacks.
Finish them.
Right in the thick of it here. So it's good that my character sort of adopted their moves as well. I'm able to put the fireballs into action as well. So that's quite good. I've got my swordsman back again. So it's quite good that you can swap your squads on the fly to suit. And there are quite a number of different squads.
I shall command you.
So I think this is giving you a pretty decent idea of what to expect from this game. You can tell whether this is going to be something that appeals to you or not. I think I've explained it pretty well. I mean, if I'm going to put a review score on this, it's not my usual format for reviewing, but I think it kind of needed the explanation. It's something you could easily sort of pick up and just feel completely disjointed from as soon as you start playing it. And I guess that in itself is telling. I mean, if I was to give it a review score based on some of the previous games, then it's okay. I'd give it probably a 6 out of 10. But you've really got to understand it.
This place is now ours.
It is a step backwards.
We shall continue north and free more of our people.
Yeah, 5 or 6 out of 10. It could be a lot better. So we've overtaken that stronghold. It could be a lot better, but it has got some good ideas and it's trying to do something different to its previous games. But it's just really badly executed and is only going to appeal to the most die-hard fans. So I think I'm going to leave it there. I mean, if you're not into these type of games, then obviously avoid like the plague. You can see why it's getting scores like 2 out of 10 and such like, and 1 out of 10, because it's not user friendly, it's not appealing. It doesn't have many redeeming qualities unless you like doing what I've been doing. So in that regard, yes, it's deserving of the low scores that it's been getting. But if you can actually understand it and stick with it, then obviously, yeah, 5, 6 out of 10. But nothing more than that. Definitely not. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. I'm Rob Cram, and thank you for watching. Thank you for enduring this playthrough.